So, what is a meteor? Well, a meteor comes from a meteoroid, which is a rock in outer space. They can be very large, up to 33 miles across. So a meteoroid out in space hits the atmosphere of space, which we showed with our balloon. And if it makes it through, we call it a meteorite. So you might want to know how to find a meteorite, because that would be really cool to have a rock from outer space. So the first thing you're doing is you're looking for something that doesn't look like it belongs. Kind of like this in the middle of a sea of white rocks. It doesn't really belong. Next thing you want to do is you want to see if it's heavy or light. So compare it to a rock of similar size. And if it feels really heavy for the size that it is, that's your first clue. Your next clue, Stephen's going to get really close. There's a nice flow line right there, Stephen. You're looking for a fusion crust. And I'm going to grab a light so we can see that a little bit better. We're looking for a fusion crust, and we can see some flow lines right here. A fusion crust develops when it goes through the atmosphere. There's some nice ones over here too, Stephen. When it goes through the atmosphere, it has lines that kind of look like little waves. And that is a fusion crust. So if it's heavier than any regular rock, and it has some kind of fusion lines on it, there's some really nice ones right there, then we might have a meteorite. So our next test is to grab a magnet. Not just any magnet, but you need a magnet of rather good strength. And see if the magnet will stick to your rock without falling off. If it does, you're one step closer to it being a meteorite. We have to look at the rock and see if there are holes in it. If it has lots of little holes in it, it is not a meteorite. It is a meteoron. This one does not have a lot of holes in it. So then we're getting closer and closer to thinking it might be a meteorite. Something else you can look for is little thumbprints, such as this one here, where it looks like it was pushed in by something else, which could be from another asteroid or meteoroid. After that, our next test will be to cut it and to see if there's any metal inside of it. So here we have cut this edge and polished it up. And if we shine the light just right, you may see some metal flaking back, like right in there. And we even see little bits of metal on the surface of this meteoron. This is not a meteorite, although we had all the experts fooled. So if it has metal in it, and it is heavy, and it holds a magnet, and it doesn't have holes, and it has flow lines, it might be a meteor. But the only way to know for sure is to send it to the university. So we had to cut this section of a rock off, and we had to send it to the university. And they informed us that it is not a meteor. It is a meteoron, but it's the best one they've ever seen, and they really didn't know what the rock was. And that is the story of Meteorite.